What is your type in terms of men? I'm intrigued because obviously I imagine a lot of your listeners and your viewers, you know, they know that you're predominantly, you know, with a woman and you're into women. So I imagine
what would be my guy?
But yeah, they probably don't know what your guy taste is.
I like a little edgy.
She's going to describe me, isn't she? Yeah. She's gonna,
Jeff is over there going, I know.
Producer Jeff is like,
Jeff's
it's definitely me.
Right
I'm edgy. I've got 3 DUIs. Yeah.
This is Lori Fetrick, and you are listening to Chillin' with Ice, where legends live on, and we have a legend here today. And this man has done, oh my goodness, the list goes on. Acting, stand-up comedian, voice acting, commercials, podcasting, TV hosting, event hosting, and the list goes on.
It's like I should almost get one job and stick to it, Laurie.
Mr. Jeff Leach, thank you so much for coming in.
They call
today.
that a jack of all trades, master of none, I think, Laurie. That's
is
what
it?
Yeah,
is that what it is?
Although I'd like to think I'm a master of about 5 of those.
My God, you've done, I mean, it's been fun though, just watching your YouTube videos, and I mean, you're funny. You are so funny.
Well, I hope so. Otherwise, I should give up the stand-up for sure. That would be that'd be quite depressing and demoralizing if you were like, nah, you should.
You kind of suck.
You're pretty bland and vanilla, bro. Stick to the TV hosting, maybe. Then I could just do like some daytime TV or something like that. That would be.
So you came over from England when? I mean, what year did you come over?
It's about a decade. In fact, I should work out. I'm going to be celebrating my 10 years, I think, this summer.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, so I came out first with stand-up. There's a venue in New York City called the Comedy Cellar, sort of very famous comedy venue. It's kind of like the Studio 54 of stand-up comedy now.
Nice.
And they brought me out to America. They helped me get to America 10 years ago. And then I did the long list of other things you mentioned since I've been here.
Long list.
Acting in some TV and some movies and AAA video games, playing some characters in those.
Right.
And yeah, it's been fun.
Favorite? Do you have a favorite?
A favorite pastime?
A favorite career? I mean, you've done all these things.
There's a reason
it's
why. Listen, it's not lost on me. I've been told by a multitude of people in the industry throughout my entire career, why don't you just pick one thing? Like, you'd be so much more mainstream successful if you just pick one thing and stuck at it. And the bottom line is that I just don't enjoy only doing one thing. I'm a Renaissance man. You
get bored a little bit?
A little bit. And I like creating art.
Wait, what sign are you?
Aquarian.
Yeah. Don't know anything about them.
We're wet. We're pretty wet. We're like splish splashing around. No, so
that can go all kinds of ways, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's why I do a podcast with a porn actress.
I know.
So
wait. Okay, we're going to talk about that for a second.
But yeah, so I guess part of it is that I just feel like if you're an artist and if you're creative, then you've done a multitude of different things over the course of your career as well.
Yes, I have.
And not because you haven't had success in them, but because you've probably enjoyed, as you change as a human being, as you grow and you evolve and develop, so do your interests and so do your tastes.
Yeah, I love doing different things.
Yeah.
It's
Plus,
fun.
if you're in entertainment, sometimes the artistic juices flow and you meet someone who goes, hey, you'd be great in a movie. And you're like, all right, cool, let's do a movie. Yeah. And so I've kind of always said yes to opportunities that came my way. And I'm grateful for that.
That's so cool. I got a question because you are my very first stand-up comedian.
Really?
That I actually.
Wow.
Oh, you're the first of many coming. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
But now here's the question, because I was talking about.
Thank you for letting me be your first, by the way.
You're my first.
Yeah.
You're my first.
I appreciate it.
Popping it right now. So it's like, I was talking to my girlfriend last night. I was like, I envy him because you are so quick.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, it's fascinating to me how you can do that. And I was watching your very first YouTube video from your podcast.
Sure,
and then some of your stand-up. And I was like, so is this something that you learn, or were you born with it? I mean, being the personality that you have, when did you go, wow, I'm really good at this and I'm going to pursue this?
Well, first of all, thank you for the kind compliments. That's very sweet of you. I think it's a mixture of both is the answer. Like I absolutely had a bit of a skill set that lent itself to entertainment and to thinking on my feet quite fast. But I also think those skills were developed first through improv, actually. I did a lot of improv when I was at college. And then I did a lot of sketch comedy. And then I went into my TV hosting, and then I started stand-up. So by the time I started stand-up, I'd already had a bit of experience thinking of, funny quips on the fly. And then self-confidence, that probably played into it a little bit. Like if you're confidently delivering anything, people will listen,
Yeah.
But yes, as I started stand-up, one of the things I had to do, because I came from TV into stand-up comedy, I was already hosting shows for the BBC and Channel 4, which a lot of your viewers were, well, they'll know BBC, I guess.
They know BBC.
But these are all like big channels in the UK and in Europe that I was on. And I went from that into stand-up comedy to get back into my acting, which was my real passion. And I basically had to create jobs for myself within stand-up, because people were almost a little annoyed that I was coming from TV into stand-up. They were trying to go the other way around.
Yes, they do.
They were doing stand-up to get on TV.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of that. So instead of being booked on lots of shows because people were like, oh, well, he's got a crowd, he can pull a crowd already, which happened with some people. A lot of people sort of ostracized me. So I created my own night and I hosted it. And when you host, you have to work, constantly be bantering with the audience and, having those kind of ongoing conversations with people you've never met before. And also the TV shows I did, a lot of them were youth programming shows, live festivals, music festivals. So it was almost like Jerry Springer for teens and live music festivals where anything could happen.
Yeah. Okay.
So I got very good at honing those skills of just working on the fly and being able to roll with the punches, which has, put me in good stead for all the work I've done since.
Do you ever remember, let's say you were doing stand-up and yes, you got to work the audience. And maybe there was that one person that just didn't take it well?
Sure.
I mean, how do you recover from that quickly and do what was...
Well, fortunately,
I want to hear about that moment for a second. If you remember anything like that.
An exact moment that's happened. The first time or an exact moment. It's hard to remember my first. I've definitely had times.
It's okay if it's not your first. I just want to know, how did you handle that?
Well, all I was going to say is, I think when you first start in comedy, I think this of a lot of stand-up comics. I rate the mastery of stand-up comedy differently to a lot of people. You can be a master of stand-up comedy, but you might not be a master stand-up comic. So you can be incredibly good at delivering your jokes that are finely honed and tuned, and that's how you work. And people go, wow, that guy was amazing, or that girl was amazing. But then if someone shouts out and heckles, a lot of people can't deal with that. Yeah. Even some of the most successful comics you see on TV. If they have to host a show, they can't do that because they can't work on the fly. They can't do crowd work. Yeah. These are all different subsets. So for me, it was important to be a master of the art form first and foremost and be able to do it all. I never really struggled when people shouted out. Now, when I first started, though, I wasn't a master. I was an amateur. And there were moments where people would shout out and try and, if someone hated my comedy, I would take it personally, which you can never do in stand-up comedy. Yeah. I get upset if someone isn't laughing and isn't responding the way I want them to. Back in the day, I might be like, why are you not in this? And then I would let that get to me and that would affect my whole performance. And often that could kill the room. The whole room would be like, all right, well, this guy's just angry now.
Right.
And
That's
you see
an angry comic.
Yeah, you see comedians scream and shout. You see it, you go to the Comedy Store here in Los Angeles, and if you see a comic who's not a master, like I hope they would be, if they're not getting the response from the audience they like, they'll go like, oh, well, you guys are a bit lame, or
you suck.
Oh, you guys are suck. Yeah, and that's the worst thing you can do. So what I do now, and this is part of the mastery, is remembering that I'm grateful every time I step on stage. Every single person that's in there has paid money to laugh. So they're there to laugh. And if they're not laughing, it's because you're not doing your job right.
Oh, good.
And also, the most valuable thing people can give you is their time. So if someone's given me, whether it's 15 minutes on a sort of a montage show with a bunch of other comics, or whether I'm doing a full hour, they're giving me their time. So now when I walk on stage, doesn't matter what room, where I am, I could be in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of hillbillies. I could be in the middle of a city with everyone looking very bougie and not really, a bit more self-absorbed. Or I could be in like a local hometown where people are really there to laugh. It doesn't matter. Every audience is there to enjoy the show. And I remind myself of that when I walk on stage. And subsequently, I don't have those situations anymore.
Oh, see, that's cool.
Yeah, and I'll have hecklers. Yeah. There'll be a drunk girl who's had like 12 bottles of white wine or rosé, who will start screaming, shouting. But instead of being angry about it or making it a miserable experience or trying to shut them down, I make them part of the show. I always make it kind. I bring them in. I'll be like, listen, I'm trying to do this thing and I want you to be a part of it and let's do that together. And that just kills their whatever issue is going on for them.
Yeah, because it's not about
way.
you. I mean, at that point in time when they're heckling you,
Sure.
they either had a bad day. Yeah. Did something happen? Their boss yelled at them.
Daddy issues and unresolved
issues,
trauma. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
exactly. So when I see someone doing that, I go, all right, you're drunk, you're sad, you're depressed, you're traumatized, whatever it is.
I just feel sorry for you now.
Exactly. And when I come from that place, it means I make it kind and it brings them in. And that's, yeah. So now I don't ever have those situations. I don't think I've had a show where people haven't enjoyed my performance for years.
See, that's amazing.
Touch wood.
Right. When did you cut your hair?
Oh, from being long?
Yeah.
Goodness. That was beaten out of me at the Comedy Cellar, actually. I used to have long hair, and then I arrived there, and they relentlessly mocked me for my big rings and my sleeveless shirts and my long hair for the first few months. So after a period of time, I just started wearing boring black t-shirts, took all the rings off, cut my hair. Yeah, I still am now.
Exactly.
Well, when we met, I was dressed very flamboyantly, and I do that now all the time. I like a little flamboyance, but I thought today I'd come in a suitably butch and masculine outfit. I wanted to match your energy. I was concerned that I'd look too effeminate next to you if I turned up with my shirt open to the navel.
Dude,
you'd be like, who's this
fucking
soft touch?
It's so funny. And it's funny because some of the YouTube things I watched, most of them are guys that are interviewing you.
Yeah.
And they're all like, it's like, no, dude, I'm not gay. And they're all like, are you sure? And you're like, no.
Isn't that amazing that outfit choices in 2024 and can make someone question your sexuality? I mean, I just had painted nails that got removed yesterday for my birthday.
I love that though on guys.
Yeah.
I think it's really fucking cool.
Although I won't do the gels again. They mess your nails up, don't they?
Oh my God,
Awful.
don't they?
Horrendous.
Okay, this is going to be a really interesting conversation that I'm going to have with you, a dude, about gel nails.
Yeah.
I had gels on for 3-4 different sessions, right? Meaning they only last, a week and a half?
Yeah,
And then they start slowly peeling off.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what, fuck this shit. Okay, so I went and one lady goes, you want hard gel? And I was like, I'm not doing the accent right now because it's probably everybody's going to yell at me.
You might be called a little racially insensitive.
But I so want to right now.
Yeah. She was French, by the way. She was from France. It wasn't what you were thinking. Exactly. You're the racist now. You were thinking something else.
But so she told me to put hard gel on. Yeah. And I mean, it's almost like acrylics.
Put on the hard gel.
Awesome.
There you go, I did it for you.
There you go, exactly. So yeah, I think it's so cool and sexy on a guy, especially someone like you.
I didn't want to bombard you today with the sex appeal. I didn't want you to question your sexuality.
Question my sexuality. I mean,
can you imagine? That would change the whole dynamic of your podcast if you decided, you know what? Now Jeff's turned up with his pretty nails.
Fucking Jeff.
I just want a little bit of cock.
God, I just want a little bit today. Just the tip.
Which is just as well, because I only have a little bit to offer. It's only a tiny amount.
Speaking of just the tip, so tell me about this porn actress that you're doing a podcast with. I mean, I find it intriguing and funny. I get all your little clips on Instagram.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and they've been doing really well. We've been racking up. I
didn't know she was an actual porn star.
She is, yeah. So Cherie DeVille, her name is, and she's an award-winning porn star. She just hosted the XBiz Awards.
So many questions on that.
Performer of the Year last year at the AVNs, MILF of the Year at both AVNs, XBiz, a couple of years in a row. So she's very well established. Damn. And yes, like you said earlier on when we were talking about daddy and mummy issues, clearly I have a few mummy issues. So I decided to get myself a full-time stepmom to co-host the show with me. But we're friends. We play Dungeons and Dragons together on a weekly basis. We're a couple of nerds. And,
that's awesome.
And we always had great banter. We always had a great relationship with, she's one of my besties. And we just said we should really be doing some content together. What should we do? So it's really just a conversation like this,
Yeah.
But we always have a jump off subject matter on. It's called Comic Cougar Convo, and it is what it is. I'm a comic. She's a cougar.
But we have conversations. Hold on a second, cougar. And you told me, how old is she? She's
in her early 40s.
Early 40s. Okay, I don't think of a cougar in their early 40s.
Right.
I don't know. Maybe cougar is early, 50s.
Sure, but if you're a 20-year-old guy and a woman in her early 40s comes up to you and says,
that's a cougar.
I'm going to take you home and do unspeakable things to you.
And that's also a MILF.
Your tip, just the tip. Then, that's a cougar.
That's a cougar. And when you said, don't you watch MILF? I'm like, no. You
like them young.
Oh my God,
really
how
old.
did you know?
You like great grand MILF pornography. Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
I can't.
Mobility scooters.
It's like I'll scroll real fast. I see it and I'm like, I can't unsee that.
Do you watch pornography?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. What kind of porn do you watch when you watch porn?
I can't tell you that.
Okay.
That's it.
Just two gay dudes just fucking you're like,
I can't watch dudes together.
No?
For some reason, it kind of, and then I can't watch girls together because they're boring.
I was going to say,
like
so you watch men and women together then, predominantly.
I'm like, women and women, they're kind of like, okay, they're faking it. I can tell when they're not into
That's
it.
interesting,
it's like, really?
though. I'm surprised
Nah,
you. So what is it about the dynamic of a man and a woman that is appealing to you? Is it because it's like the mysterious unknown that you don't really dabble in?
Oh, no, I've dabbled.
Well, yeah, back in the day, but you're
I've
with
totally
a lady,
dabbled.
right?
It's not a big deal.
Yeah,
and it's not that. And I think I had a conversation. I had this conversation with a friend of mine. We were laughing about it, and it's like the fantasy is always way better than the reality.
Sure,
always.
Of which one?
What are you talking
Which one?
about?
Because that would apply for us as well. Do you know what I mean? It's like threesomes. All my buddies, I've had a bunch of like group sex situations, you know, and big swingers parties.
You have?
Yeah.
Really?
I love fucking Laurie. I mean,
really?
come on.
That's awesome.
Come on.
Like
I paint
no
my nails.
inhibition.
Come on. I wear skinny trousers.
Whatsoever. You're so secure with that masculinity. You're like, let's go.
Yeah,
let's go.
I mean, I do it. I enjoy sex. I think it's a wonderful thing. And I also enjoy being monogamous with a partner when I'm with a partner as well. I enjoy all facets of sex in all the different shapes and sizes that sort of part of the life comes in. But it's like three ways. Like a lot of guys would love the concept of two women. And I've enjoyed that situation a number of times. But it's also a lot of work. There's a lot of pressure on you as a guy in there. Plus, one woman always feels a little less satisfied, I find.
I was going to say one feels a little left out.
Yeah.
Because you might be paying attention a little bit too much to the other one. And you're like,
And for most of the women I've had threesomes with, the girls absolutely, they weren't so into the girl-on-girl side of it. It was more just like, wouldn't this be fun and adventurous?
I was just going to say, you got to be with two girls that are actually into each other, at least a little bit. Otherwise, it's not going to be...
Exactly. And all girls, they'll play with a pair of boobs. They'll have a little college fumble, but they're not necessarily into stimulating the other woman, you know, orally or physically to a point of climax. So you're relying on that.
And it's funny you say that because I know my sister listens to my podcast. And
which is why you don't want to talk too much about the porn you watch.
Okay, so let's bypass her and pretend I didn't say my sister.
Okay.
Let's say a friend.
Okay.
I'm asking for a friend. Like that. I remember one of my friends says, you know, I could probably go down on a girl, but I could never make out with her. And I was just like,
wow.
What?
Wow.
No.
Straight to the vagina.
No.
That's interesting.
Kissing is the easiest
part. Kissing is too intimate, is it?
Is that what it was? Maybe that's what it is.
Whereas obviously licking someone's vagina is not intimate
maybe it's
in the
just
slightest.
not intimate at all. I mean, it's just an act.
Goodness.
You're just going through there. But you're right. I mean, when you have the threesomes, you definitely have to have the two girls.
And if you're the dude, like it really does fall on you. Like there is a lot of responsibility. There is a lot of responsibility, a lot of pressure. Now, I've fortunately, at least touch wood so far, if that's ever happened, I've always been able to deliver the best I can, and that seems to have pleased everyone in the room. You know what I mean? But yeah, I've had bros be like, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna have a threesome," you know. And then they come back, they're like, "Man, too much pressure," and one girl felt left out, and then the other girl got annoyed.
So they're like, "I can't do that anymore."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But now, if you're in a room full of people, like you said, sex parties. Yeah. I mean, it's like, okay, no pressure, pressure's off, right?
You tap in, you tap out. Exactly. It was like you on Gladiators. Do you know what I mean? It was like, yeah, exactly. Your turn. Go. It's your section of the course. Yeah, you do the butthole. It's fine. I'm like,
dude.
Yeah. So I do enjoy the group ones a little bit more. It's interesting because I'm back in that place now. I'm sort of rediscovering sexual freedom because I've been in a relationship for 4.5 years. You know, I was meant to be married this year. And
you said gonna be.
I was going to be. Yeah, that ended 4 months ago. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. Thank you. I was certainly sad about the experience, but I also it was the right thing to happen.
Okay.
So for everyone, I think, you know, even though I wasn't expecting it. Right. And so that's only 4 months ago. So it's weird going from being this very, at least perceived, very sexual being who was quite promiscuous and had a lot of fun, did lots of crazy things, to them being with someone like, we're getting married, we're going to have babies, we're going to do all the things.
Wow, that's like...
And completely committed, completely monogamous. And now I'm back in the world going like, oh, am I young enough to still do all that shit? You know?
Yeah, you start questioning that a little bit.
And because I have a lot of friends in the biz, in like the sex worker biz, you know, there's a lot of opportunity to go and hang out with people. Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know if I can go back to hooking up with, you know, with porn
you can do
stars.
You know you can.
But feeling good about it, I'm not sure.
Why?
Oh, because...
I mean, look at you. You're still young and handsome and...
Thank you.
Good. I mean, your body's still great. This is a
different kind of podcast now. It's just like... This is just an opportunity for you to live out some of that porn that you watch.
Here, let me put my hat backwards for a minute.
There we go. All right, bro. All right, we're back.
Okay, we're back now. Let's get.
No, but for real, I mean, like, I think there's.
Let's get the lesbian back in here. Hold on.
I appreciate that you think I still have opportunity, and I'm sure, but I also, it's a different landscape. Like, not having dated anyone for 5 years basically it's weird. Is it a different landscape out there now? Yeah, and I'm 40 now. I literally just turned 40, and I took out a girl the other week who was 28 years of age, which I was 39. It was 10-year difference, which I don't think is too bad.
No.
I don't really date under 25 because I want them to have lived a bit and have some life experience.
Right.
And she made a couple of comments that made me feel so fucking ancient.
Really?
Yeah. Just more like wow, I normally don't date guys this old. Things like that. And I was
that'll do it.
I was like, I'm 39. What the fuck are you talking about? I'm 11 years older than you. I couldn't even be your dad. But
you could be her daddy.
At 11?
She wanted you.
11 years old?
Just she wanted a little.
I mean, no,
just the concept of it.
Maybe.
Okay, but now you're 40, so now that's going to change the dynamics a little bit too. When you meet girls and they go, "How old are you?" You're going to go, 40.
I never lied about my age. I've never been ashamed about it, but it's definitely made me feel differently about it.
As you get older, it happens.
Right,
I'm letting you know.
Yeah?
It sucks.
Right.
Literally. It's the number. It's not how old you look, no how you act.
It's just on paper.
It's just the number.
People hear it and
that's
go, ooh, 40.
Yeah.
Shouldn't you have a minivan and 3 kids by now?
Right?
Yeah.
No. I mean, come on now.
I don't. I rode here on a Lime scooter in a pair of hot pants. I'm just living my best life. No, I don't know. It is what it is.
You're good though. I mean, but I see what you're saying. It's like, and then what's cool about you though is that you're doing stand-up, you're out in the public, you're meeting people all over the place. Can you imagine if you weren't and you had to go online and meet girls and shit? I mean, how did they do that?
Well, hang on. I got a story for you about that. So I got kicked off Tinder and Hinge.
How does anybody get kicked off Tinder?
So I got kicked off Tinder 15 years ago. I was with that couple that one of the couple that I have sex, parties with. They're actually based out in Romania. We were on holiday together in Australia, having fun, enjoying ourselves. They wanted me to try and pick up some girls for the last night, so they changed my profile photo to me shirtless on a balcony overlooking Sydney Harbour. Okay. And they put one night only, call now, and put my cell phone number, and then changed my profile picture to that. And I got kicked off within like an hour for soliciting escorting services.
Oh, come on.
Yeah. So I got banned for being a sex worker, even though I wasn't actually a sex worker.
But it's okay if you're on Tinder and go, I'm right next door. Do you want to hook up?
100%.
It's okay to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can't say.
You can't put a profile picture that has a number. That was like advertising, soliciting sex, basically. And which was hilarious. And then I didn't think anything of it. I haven't for the last 15 years, but I can no longer use Tinder because it's linked to my Apple ID. And I got Hinge maybe a month or two after I split with my partner, when she split with me. And I was getting the hits. I was really, there wasn't a lot of men in their late 30s who do therapy every week, who have financial security, who are, doing some fun, cool career stuff as well. And there's at least a little sexiness about what I do. And also who call their mum once a week. On paper, it's like, this is a well-balanced individual with his shit together who does some fun stuff.
Yeah.
So I was getting some great hits. I was really doing well. And then all of a sudden, my profile was gone, and I got an email saying, because it's owned by the same parent company, Tinder owns Hinge. So my Apple ID had flagged. It took a minute to come through, but it flagged my ID as banned on Tinder. So they auto ban on Hinge if you're banned on Tinder.
Okay, so the business side of me right now is thinking for you, and I'm like thinking like this, going, go get an Android.
Yeah, I could get.
For that reason alone.
What an investment of time and energy.
Really?
And, and you know what? As soon as you put the apps down, what I find with dating is as soon as I put apps down, I start lifting my eyes and start looking around and seeing who's around.
That's true.
Like that 28-year-old was a girl who did my nails. She's a beautiful Mongolian lady who did my nails. I was like, you're stunning. Let's go dancing. She was like, yeah, I'd love that. So doing those kind of things, I went to the XBiz Awards because I rewrote the scripts for my friend Cherie, who was hosting it. And I met a bunch of porn actresses there and exchanged numbers with some people.
Damn, you're really into that industry, aren't you?
Yeah, I think because they're liberated and because
wait a minute, have you ever thought about actually being in some of the films?
I've actually thought about it, yeah. I just think I have enough, fortunately, success in the sort of mainstream.
So you don't want to take your clothes off?
Then. No, because I think unlike we live in an age now of ever-changing and ever-growing attitudes towards sex and sexual freedom. I think for a woman right now, it's a great time to be sexually liberated. You know, I think that, look, there's that girl from Euphoria, you know, who was a porn actress previously, who has now gone on to have major success in the mainstream acting world, and her porn career just hasn't affected that. And that's because a lot of Hollywood is still run by a lot of really creepy pedophiles and rapists. But no, like just creepy old dudes.
Yeah,
let's be
it
real.
really is.
So the fact that, you know, she used to do scenes with in porn doesn't affect that. In fact, it probably makes them go, great, yeah, she's definitely going to do well in this biz, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas a dude slinging a little bit of dick for some money, you lose jobs. Yeah, you don't fit our brand. Oh, I don't think we can be aligned with that, you know?
I still think it affects the women too, though. I mean, I hear what you're saying.
Absolutely does, but in a slightly different
saying.
way. And also bear in mind, we're in this, at least perceived, I don't think the world is equal by any means. I know that the patriarchy still reigns very strong.
Oh, yeah.
But I also do think that at least perception within media and certainly pop culture is that to be sexual as a woman now, you look at music, you look at all forms of art that women are involved in and succeeding in. You can be a female rapper or a female singer and be very sexual in your
100%.
videos and lyrics about fucking and people will
100%.
celebrate you and elevate you.
Yep.
Because again, I think a lot of those decision makers and gatekeepers are pervy old dudes.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know.
They've always been there. I mean, I can't tell you how many I encountered.
Yeah.
And it's like, I look back on my career going, wow, pervert. I mean, it's insane, you know, and the shit that I actually had to put up with going through the ranks and trying to get up to a certain point in my career. And it's just, that was way before the whole, I mean, obviously Me Too movement, but but even today, it's like I hear what you're saying, and you're absolutely right. Women and females have elevated so far up, but yet at the same time, you would be surprised if I were to do anything and, like, I don't know, take my shirt off, do anything, you know, topless, whatever, literally whatever I want to do. It depends on what area I want to go into, of course. They're going to look at me and go, you don't align with our brand.
Depends what you want to do.
That's true.
You've made a good point. Because look, there are dudes who are sexually very provocative and who are selling sex. They got their OnlyFans accounts. They're fucking their girlfriends or whatever.
Oh my God,
and
the
putting the
OnlyFans
content
accounts.
out. But those people they're not looking for mainstream approval.
Right.
You
they
know,
don't care.
They don't care. They've got their own podcast. They got their own thing. They got their funds coming in. They're influencers. And they're going, I actually can set up my own platform. And actually, the more provocative I am, the more clicks I'm getting, the more people are watching my stuff, whether I'm getting my dick out or I'm having a boxing match or I'm selling an energy drink or I'm screaming and shouting it whilst playing a video game on Twitch. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the same microcosm. And I think a lot of young people are gravitating towards that. Whereas I just think I really love acting, and I really love acting in
your clothes.
Professional. Yeah. No, I don't mind taking my clothes off, but I want to be in professional television shows and movies and continue doing that stuff. And that's difficult to do, unfortunately, if you've done pornography.
You're 100% correct.
Yeah.
And now you said you started in acting before you were a stand-up comic.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
What was your first? What was your first gig that you got?
Was like my first professional job was with a Royal Shakespeare Company, actually.
Wow.
Yeah. I did their 50th anniversary Complete Works of Shakespeare Festival. I went up to the RSC and we did a performance of Lope de Vega's Montagues and Capulets, and I was in that. So that was my first professional acting job, you know, with the RSC, darling. It was very, very, very fancy. And then I went into TV. It was straight into TV presenting. I was DJing, actually. That was one of my previous lives.
That's right. I read that too. You were a DJ.
So I used to DJ and produce like dance tracks and remixes for Ministry of Sound and Island Records and people like that. Play all the major festivals in Europe. Never in the US, but all across Europe. And I got spotted by a producer at, I think it was Bestival or Glastonbury. It was Bestival, I think. And she was like, you're hilarious. You should be a TV presenter. I was like, all right, great. Let's give me a screen test. And then I got my first BBC show off the back of that. And then I spent the next few years doing that and realized this is not what I want to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I didn't find it challenging.
Boring? I was just, okay, so it's kind of
super boring. Yeah, it was like, I just didn't want to, I didn't find it stimulating enough. And I was like, no, I want to be an actor.
I want to move on.
You know what? Out here in America, I think being a polymath or being at least successful or talented enough in enough areas is a blessing. They want stars in America. You can be Ellen DeGeneres. You can write books, host your own chat show, be in a major sitcom, write for things, be in movies. And that's great. You can be a singer, you can be an actress, you can do all these things. People want to encourage you to do those things. That's America. England, it was very much, because it's such a small little island, there's only so many jobs to go around. They go, what are you? Are you an actor? Well, then do acting. Are you a stand-up? Just do your stand-up. Are you a TV host? Do your TV hosting.
So it was super competitive back there then.
Sure, yeah, it was. It's changing slightly. It's still competitive, but they're allowing the concept of multifaceted performers now.
Right.
But nowhere near like America.
See, the first time I was back in England, it was only because of our Gladiator show took us back there to compete against your Gladiators.
Oh, amazing. Now, did you kick their ass? Were you the superior Gladiators?
Ass. All of us, all of the Americans kicked the UK's
really?
ass.
Did you meet Jet?
Yeah.
Did you like Jet? Did you get on well?
Very much so.
Oh, did Jet like you?
Very much so.
Oh, shit. Did you and Jet fucking bone? Because I need to know that. That is the gladiatorial contest I want to watch. Ice and Jet just going toe to toe. All right, you're saying nothing. Is that you saying nothing? Yo, you know what? That's made my childhood sort of sexual fantasy 10 times hotter.
I didn't say anything.
You didn't have to. I've already got a boner, Laurie. It's already happened. It's already. I told you there was just a tip, so it's you can't tell. But no, that's amazing. Yeah, Jet was one of my childhood
Little
romantic,
fantasies.
yeah, she absolutely was. And I think for many young men and women who were into girls, she was
many.
In the same way that I imagine there was lot of...
Can I just blow your mind right now and blow that little childhood,
Yeah.
She's with a woman now.
Ah, yeah, baby. Nice. And you're responsible for that change. Yeah,
I am so
she exclusively
not.
dated men before that. She was with fucking Brick or whatever the guy's name was. And now she's into ladies. Good for you.
Dude.
I don't know who's the more prolific sexual entity out of the two of us. You keep making it out like it's me, but I think it's you. You're out there just turning gladiators into...
Look, I'm not turning anyone. I mean, it's just... I'm
in that locker room, in that gladiator locker room when all that spandex was, being snapped to one side.
No. We went over to the UK.
Right.
And it was the international show, actually, is what it was. And so I didn't know anything about the gladiators over there. Literally, stop looking at me like
Sorry,
that.
I mean, you're telling a sexy story. I know where it's going. I'm already... Carry on. Yes,
tell me more. No, we just went over there the first year, and it's like, she was super nice, and we became friends, and she showed me around Surrey, and it was nice. She's nice. Yeah. We still talk.
No, I'm sure. She seems like a great person as well. I'm intrigued because Gladiators was a big thing in the UK.
They just started up again.
Oh, really?
Again, yeah.
Oh, cool.
This is their third time around.
Are you involved in the latest iteration?
Nah, they don't want anything to do with us.
That sucks. I mean, because you could go back and host it or something.
Of course. Here in the US, they rebooted it in I want to say 208, but it wasn't 208. I forgot what year they rebooted. It didn't do well. And that was when Hulk Hogan and Laila Ali actually rebooted. They were the host, didn't do well. But the UK also did their reboot.
Right.
And they kind of didn't do well either.
Right.
And now they just rebooted a third time. So did Australia. And I think actually some of the gladiators, I don't think Jet's involved with this round. I could be wrong if she was.
Okay.
But I mean, it's getting a really great response. We haven't rebooted here yet, and I don't know why. I have no idea why. We're just behind, and we're the ones who created the damn show.
Sure, yeah.
You would think
it was a US thing originally,
be the
right?
first and kind of moving on, and yet we're not.
Well, I hope they bring it back, and if they do, I hope they, get you back involved in some way.
They don't want us. That's what's so weird. They don't want the originals at all whatsoever.
That's so strange.
Yeah.
That's so strange because it would bring in a different audience as well. You would also have people who've now got kids of their own being like, yo, I used to watch it. Come and watch this with the family.
We say the same thing.
You'd be there in a little blouse and the dads would all be like, oh, yeah, I remember when I saw yeah. You know what? I actually ended up sleeping. Speaking of childhood, have you ever met any of your childhood sexual awakening icons before? Have you ever someone who you used to be madly in love with as a teen and then you met them in real life as a grown adult? Because you're in entertainment as well?
I'm trying to think, and I know I have, and I know I was disappointed. So that's probably why I've gotten who it was.
Right.
Yeah, they just never live up to that childhood fantasy.
It wasn't like Axl Rose or something, was it?
No,
Okay.
no.
Because he used to look good back in the day, and then he slipped off a little bit. The drugs.
But you know who I did meet that wasn't like a childhood sexual fantasy or anything.
Okay.
It was more just, he was just amazing, was Bruce Springsteen.
Oh, yeah, the
my
boss.
God.
He's a nice guy as well.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
I went to his birthday party.
Oh,
and
yeah?
it was here in the Hollywood Hills many years ago. So that was awesome in a way. That was just unbelievable. But no, I really haven't got to meet the little...
Would you have hooked up with the boss at one time in life? Does that float your boat?
Not necessarily. He's not my type.
Okay. What is your type in terms of men? I'm intrigued because obviously I imagine a lot of your listeners and your viewers, they know that you're predominantly, with a woman and you're into women. So I
what
imagine
would be my guy?
But yeah, they probably don't know what your guy taste is.
I like a little edgy.
She's going to describe me, isn't she? Yeah. She's gonna,
Jeff is over there going, I know.
Producer Jeff is like,
Jeff's
it's definitely me.
Right
I'm edgy. I've got 3 DUIs. Yeah.
I like a little edgy.
Right.
I like a guy that has extreme confidence in themselves and in their sexuality, their masculinity.
I think they'd have to be with you because you're a very confident character.
I think so. And let's see, good dresser.
You are describing me.
I am describing you. A good dresser. Right. Somebody who works out. I mean, since I work out all the time.
I could do a bit more of that.
I like a guy that works out that has a big, beautiful chest and arms and shoulders.
Right, sure, yeah. No, I know exactly what you're talking about. Sure, let me just puff myself out.
Maybe it's because it's kind of like everybody's like either you're a boob guy or butt guy, whatever. I personally, as women, I love boobs. I think they're beautiful.
You love a good chest on a man.
I think the chest on the man has to be like the conga drums. The conga drums.
You want to be able to motorboat that chest,
absolutely.
those pectoral muscles. Yeah, I feel you.
And yet at the same time, I would want them obviously taller, stronger, bigger.
I reckon I could take you. I can take you down. I don't know if I could win the whole fight, but I could definitely.
I think you could.
I think you
could. And it's more of it's more probably, and this is going to sound really bad, so listeners don't take it the way you're going to take it, but more dominance.
Sure.
I want them to be more dominant over me.
Also, you can be all for consent and the correct treatment of women, but also like to be submissive in the bedroom as a woman. That's okay.
How'd you know?
Damn. Yeah. I've been reading your diaries.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm going to go back a bit further and read the bits about Jet, though. That's where I'm going to get to.
It's fun.
You're gonna have to dig those ones out. That's gonna be great.
They're gonna make me blush.
I actually hooked up with one of my childhood. So I definitely had a poster.
That's why you wanted
Jet.
to go there. Okay, tell me.
No. I was just interested because it's a very strange. I had a photo of definitely a poster of Jet on my wall when I was a teenage lad, but I had a number of other people, and one of the ladies that I had up there who at that time was a model, and she did some hosting on TV shows, a couple of big TV shows. But I ended up meeting her here in LA through a mutual friend, and we all went for dinner, and then we got on really well, and we ended up hooking up, and that was it was very sexy. It was as good as yeah.
Wow.
It was great. It was exactly how I would have wanted it to go down.
Good for you.
Yeah. But then I realized there was no necessary future for us because she already has a child and doesn't want any more kids, and I was like, I think I'm looking for something a little different.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to settle down and have kids then?
Maybe. I did want that, and now I don't know. I just become single at 40 and lost an engagement. So I'm like,
it's better single at 40 rather than single at 60.
Absolutely.
I mean, come on. The pool goes from here down to about right there.
Sure. Or does it? It depends what your position is, and it depends who you're interested in and attracted to. You know what I mean? I think I wouldn't mind. I think if you're happy on your own, if you're comfortable in yourself, which I was for 2 years prior to getting in that relationship, then yes, I'm sad about the breakup, and I'm still navigating that pain to some extent. There's still a bit of a change in situation.
Right.
But I'm also like, I know I'm all right on my own.
Right.
That's a great foundation to start from.
It's a great foundation.
Yeah.
I mean, let's put it this way. I know that you do therapy weekly.
Once a week, baby. Yeah. And I'm going to be doing a podcast with my therapist.
You know what I loved about therapy is you can sit there for an hour and talk about yourself, and they just look at you and go, Yeah.
Not my guy. He's like, It's like, shut up for a minute. Let me tell you what's going on. I'm like,
Let me tell you what's going on with you right now.
No,
You're
he's
like,
great.
ah.
Yeah. I think everyone should have a little touch of therapy. And also, I've been really, you know what I really think would be freeing for a lot of people is ketamine infusion therapy or psilocybin therapy. I would love to see, this is incredibly hard line, but I feel like if everyone who suffers from some kind of trauma from their childhood, which is not everyone, I get it. Some people had very well-balanced
I had like a completely normal everyday, okay, I say that and you're like, sure you did.
No, I believe
did,
you if
though.
you say. Yeah.
I had a completely normal everyday alcoholic parents.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. So you know what I mean? I feel like everyone, if at 18 years of age, or maybe 21, you know, let's keep it American.
Okay.
Everyone should be forced to go away and do some therapy, some talk therapy for a week, and then be given either a ketamine infusion therapy or a psilocybin therapy, and then sent off into the world.
Can you explain what that is? Because a lot of people don't know what you're talking about.
Sure. So I actually just did I've got a new channel that I'm doing a load of stuff. I called it.
And I said everybody because I don't know what the fuck you're talking
about. Sure. Well, psilocybin is mushrooms. You trip balls. You can navigate a lot of traumas from a very from a position where my experience has been. Oh, God, there's quite a lot to this. A year and a half ago, my best friend killed himself. He committed suicide. 3 weeks later, my dad died from his alcoholism, and I was trying to save both these men for a number of years. That hit me hard.
I bet.
And this is after 3 decades of, at least on paper, clinical depression, you know, for me.
Right.
So, long time depressed, just thinking that, you know, I used to drink to get away from it, escape from it, take drugs, whatever, fuck, all of these things. Gave up the booze 4.5 years ago and all the Class A's and all that stuff. Still smoked a little weed, you know, had some sex, but in a much healthier way. And then this happened and I was feeling very, very suicidally depressed in a number of ways myself. And I didn't want to feel that way. And I knew that I didn't want to kill myself because I had tried a few years earlier and in a very weak manner.
Didn't work.
It wasn't even just, I think it was more of a cry for help than a real attempt on my life, you know? So I went, right, well, I can't exist like this anymore. It's very tiring having that voice in my head, self-loathing and telling me every day that I should, you know, that I don't deserve to be here.
Right.
And the world hates me and I hate myself and all that stuff. So I went away and I took 7 grams of mushrooms. I went to the Joshua Tree the first time to my friend's Airbnb on my own and took 7 grams of mushroom and I tripped balls for about 6.5 hours, 7 hours. And at the beginning, I just looked at nature and I looked at some trees and I was like, this is beautiful. And when I felt myself coming up, I went to the bedroom and I laid down, I closed my eyes and I did what effectively you would do in a proper therapeutic setting with a doctor and, you know, medical practitioners, which I have now done with ketamine. And I'll tell you about that in a sec. But I processed pain that I've been holding on to for 3 decades. I processed childhood trauma. I released it. I released that voice in my head that I've heard every single day, which I think most people have a form of in their mind. You know, oh, you look a bit fat for that outfit. Don't wear that shirt. Oh,
the healthiest of people
did
have
I just
those
make
voices.
myself look stupid? Did I just say the wrong thing? Oh, have I upset that? But that thing, that's ego. It's all ego. It's just, it's not even who you are. As I explore kind of Chinese Taoism and Indian Buddhism as quite at depth now, I understand there's different parts to the genetic makeup of who you are, right? You've got your physical form, your physical vessel, which is not you. It's just a vessel to take you from A to B, life to death, birth to death. You've got your internal monologue, that's your ego. You've got your subconscious, which you don't even control, which is, you know, you drink a bit of water, you don't know how you turn that liquid into nutrients for your body, or when you eat a sandwich, you know. And then beyond all of those things, you have yourself, which is just a little spark of energy that is inside all of us, right? And mushrooms really made me aware that I wasn't the protagonist of my story. Bad things don't happen to me. Bad things just happen in life, and I am navigating life. And so I will experience bad things. You can choose to hold on to them and let them define who you are and let them rule every decision you make, every choice you make, every feeling you feel. Or you can understand that you do have choice in those situations and you can go, I accept that happened to me, but it doesn't define what my future will be, what my present is right now, or what my future will be.
Okay.
Or how I will be, you know. So that was very freeing. So that mushroom trip, that first one helped me. I cried it all out. I thought about my friend. I thought about my dad. I realized their energy is just part of the big, great energy that is all things, and that they're not gone, just their physical vessel is. Yeah. And I processed it. Some people have religious experiences from it. They talk to their gods. I definitely talk to a higher power. And it's all the same thing, God, Allah, Krishna, Vishnu, or just higher power, as I see it, your spirit, your Shakti, your Chi. There's so many different names.
Oh my God, there's so many different things for it. I don't know what it is, but I am scared shitless of tripping balls like that.
Right. So then you should try a ketamine infusion therapy, which is different.
That?
Ketamine, people know it as horse tranquilizer, it's a club drug. It's not. I mean, it's mostly used in a vast array of ways medicinally to treat, they use it a lot with babies actually, but they use it effectively to disassociate mind from body. So if you had a horrendous accident, touch wood, neither of us ever do, but if you had your arm ripped off, they would give you liquid ketamine to stop you being aware that your arm's missing, you're screaming and shouting and going through that kind of pain and that experience.
Interesting.
It's also pain medication, just in the same way that morphine is, etc. But without the addictive, addictive element of it. You don't get addicted to ketamine. It's not an addictive drug.
Okay.
Now I just did some footage which I'm going to be putting on this new channel, and part of it's all about physical, spiritual, and mental evolution. So I basically want to continue evolving every single year and becoming a better version of myself.
Right.
I realized when I gave up booze, that was the right path for me. And if I can pass that on to other people, that's going to be amazing. If there's some worth in those lessons that I'm learning as a student of life that can impact other people to feel happier and healthier in their own lives, great. I'm not a teacher. I don't have any of the answers. I'm just a student trying shit out and seeing what sticks.
And see, that's why I like podcasting, is because I get to meet people like you. We get to talk about these things and people get to hear them to where they normally would never listen to this.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And all of a sudden it's going to grab somebody's ear and they're going to go, huh.
I hope so. There's going to be one person, at least one person watching this or listening to this.
One person, exactly.
Who will say, I have depression, I have PTSD, I have trauma, I have BPD, I have anxiety, any of the above, right? Now, unless you have psychosis in your family, in which case you probably would be advised by your doctor not to undergo a ketamine therapy treatment because it can trigger psychosis or schizophrenia, that kind of thing.
Bad things.
Exactly. But if you don't have any of those things, for instance, first responders, there's a 100% success rate with ketamine treatment for giving them life-changing benefits. So I went up there to hang out with some veterans who were doing this program called the Fetrick Power Up program. And I do a lot of work with the veteran community and also with children's charities, because those are the two areas that I feel like people who put their lives on the line for us and are dropped back in civilian life with very little support from a lot of entities, including the VA in some ways, or there's limited support, or children who are defenseless to protect themselves from the horrors they experience. I want to help those two groups out, So I went up there, did the therapy myself so I'd understand it. And it's liquid IV. It's they can give you medicine so you don't have any nausea from the experience, which is the only thing that generally turns people off. And you can be out of it in 10 minutes. It's like you can be into the trip, and then because they're doing it slowly, drip feeding you a little bit at the right weight to size ratio. They give you a certain milligram dosage per your kilogram weight.
Yeah.
If you're not enjoying it, or if you're experiencing nausea or you're not into it, you can press a little button, and then within 10 minutes, you're back to sitting there going,
oh my God, that sounds like so much fun and cool.
I talked to veterans I talked to a guy who had a gun against his head 2 weeks prior and felt that life was unlivable. He has a wife, a child, and a second child on the way, and found it difficult to be present for anyone. He has experienced a lot of trauma, PTSD from his military service. And I talked to him, and the guy's face was unbelievable. This is a man who's going, I've had one of these treatments, and it's freeing. I know that look in someone's eyes when they have had depression and trauma.
But what does it do? What does the session do?
What was the experience?
What's the experience?
Yeah. It allows you to so for his experience, for instance, that he told me about at depth, was he replayed a lot of those traumatic experiences, but he could stand outside of his own emotions to look at them. So he watched it and went, this happened, but it's not me. Like those experiences aren't my identity. It's just something I experienced.
Something happened to me.
It's
not who I am.
You live in your mind for a minute, but without any of the dramatic, dark, emotional attachments to your memories.
Like, fuck this, I'm out. I don't want to do this anymore.
No, not even fuck this, I'm out. More just like, I can replay that. Okay, let's say someone is abused as a child.
Okay.
They might be able to replay some of those experiences, and instead of feeling panic, terror, fear, pain, anguish, they can look at it and go, that is an awful thing that happened to me. I'm not feeling the emotion relating to it. And I understand that the only person who should feel any pain from that experience is that person who did that thing to me. They're responsible for that. And that experience that I experienced, that awful trauma I experienced, it's not part of who I am today. I'm not undergoing that trauma today. I'm no longer feeling that pain physically, emotionally today, but I'm putting that on myself, and they can come out of it just free from it. Just a slight shift in mindset. Scientifically, what happens, as opposed to what happens in the trip, because I didn't have any of those experiences because I've done 3 big mushroom trips that have freed me from all my past traumas.
Got it.
Fact.
Right.
So when I did ketamine, I had an hour where I explored the cosmos. I became an atom. I talked to my higher power. I did those things. I really went internally to places that you cannot go
that's awesome.
normally, unless maybe you are doing meditation endlessly all day long to a place where you leave your body and transcend your physical form.
Our mind is so powerful.
So powerful and so untapped.
Yes.
So untapped. And so what it does scientifically is, imagine, so point A is a thought, right? And point B is where you'd like to get to. This bit in the middle might have a trauma relating to it.
Yes.
So someone grabs you forcefully from behind, and they're not trying to be aggressive to you. It's just your friend trying to grab you. Yeah. But you were attacked by a man 15 years ago who grabbed you forcefully. And now when you get grabbed, it makes you... Triggers you.
It's a trigger.
What ketamine does is currently when you feel a forceful touch, it takes you straight to that trigger and you get stuck there and you can't leave it.
Yeah.
And what's literally going in your brain is you don't have the synaptic pathway to get from point A to point B, which would be normal, which is turning around and going, hey, it's you, it's okay.
Right.
And it wouldn't affect you. Instead, you get stuck. Your neurons don't fire across. What ketamine does is it literally grows new neurological pathways, new neuron pathways from point A to point B. So whereas you were always getting stuck at that broken road of point A to point B, now it goes, well, actually, you could just go take this road. Instead, we'll just go that way.
That is so cool.
So you circumnavigate. So when you come out of the trip and the treatment, you go, oh, okay, I think I'm not going to be affected by that anymore. Now, it can be life-changing like that with one treatment for a lot of people. First responders, police force, paramedics, military, serving and veterans.
Well, I mean, anybody who's had some kind of trauma, whether it be, in childhood, like you said, abuse, molestation, rape, all those things. Mm-hmm. I mean, that sounds amazing. And a lot of people I didn't know that was out there.
You know why? Because also ketamine is being, look, it's the same as mushroom.
Yeah.
They demonized it. The government demonized it back in the day because they wanted to demonize a certain group of people, especially around the time of the Vietnam War. They wanted people who were taking drugs and being all about peace and love. They needed to make them all appear to be awful, or they wanted to flood, the ghettos with certain drugs, crack cocaine and stuff like that. There's all this evil shit that's been going on for a long time, especially in this country. And if you think about mushrooms, you go, a bunch of hippies losing their minds.
Course.
You don't lose your mind from mushrooms. You come down from your trip. You never get stuck on it.
No.
Now, if you take vast amounts of LSD, sure, you might have some effects that are ongoing, but mushrooms, absolutely not. It's an up and down experience.
Have you found that going through these kind of, different trips in different ways and mushrooms, it's helped your career also as well?
It will do. It's helped me to understand whether I want to be in this career.
Okay, there you go.
Because I think entertainment is an insidious cesspool of egos and greed. And like I mentioned earlier, some of the people who run it and gatekeep it are some of the worst people on the planet.
Worst people in the world.
So yeah, that's made me go, do I necessarily want to create, I've been thinking about this a lot. My comedy special.
What would you do?
Oh, I would continue to do what I do because I'm a storyteller. I love telling stories. That's my job title, storyteller.
Yes.
Whether I'm on TV hosting a show or a documentary series, or I'm on stage telling stand-up jokes, or whether I'm in a movie or a TV show or a video game playing a character, I'm a storyteller. I just realized that I now have the financial freedom to tell stories on my own terms in the own way that I like to. My comedy special, I'll give you an example. I made a comedy special at the end of last year, finished it off. It was delayed by about 6 months because of the death of my friend and my dad. And I changed a bunch of things, reshot stuff. Netflix would never allow me to reshoot changed things. They would have told me what to put in it and what not to put in it.
100%.
And I had meetings with major networks like that who offered me money for it, and I refused it because, one, we were on strike. You know, SAG-AFTRA members were on strike, and I was like, why am I going to give my hard work to this entity that doesn't even value the artists who make them billions of dollars every year? So fuck them. I'll put it out myself. And also, I didn't know if I wanted to be part of the rat race, so I released it myself. Now, not everyone has the financial freedom to release themselves, to also get Times Square billboards and, you know, put 100K into marketing and all that stuff. You know, those are, I realize that. But it has allowed me to understand that I can change how I put art out into the world.
Good.
And as long as it's having benefit for some people, great. You know, that stand-up special has got a bunch of stuff about mental health, and it's got an animated segment where I play 4 characters that I voice. It's all highly animated, you know, really well done. It's like professional.
Where can they find that? Where can they find it?
That's on YouTube for free.
Okay.
So yeah, Jeff Leach presents a comedy spectacular. Please go watch it if you are interested, and if you're not, that's okay too.
Watch it anyway.
Well, nah, not if you're not interested. If you're not interested in it, but listen, there's plenty of good jokes. So there's stand up. I do stand up in it. I do crowd work at the end in Vegas at the Comedy Cellar. Stand up in the Comedy Cellar. So 40 minutes of it is all stand up, and then there's also a rap music video I did. There's an animated segment where I play all 4 characters. There's a dance track at the end. There's a dramatic dialogue all the way throughout.
I can't wait to see this.
Yeah, please. I'd be really interested to see what you think about it, because some of the stuff we discussed, some of the mental health stuff, I put into it purposefully because I wanted to I didn't want all mental health issues to be so serious, you know? I wanted to laugh at my own situation. It is funny that I've spent 30 years
Do you
in pain.
consider yourself an introvert or extrovert?
That's a good question. I'm not sure anymore. I'm confident and outgoing, but I also like my own personal time and space. So I'm a little bit of both. Maybe one of those introverted extroverts, or you know, whatever it is.
Well, you always hear about all these comedians and everything. They're really super serious introverts, and therefore their alter ego is what's on stage, what people see.
Whereas my stand-up's very transparent and very much me. I'm telling you about me.
Yeah.
And hoping that you can identify with some of those things. You know, love, heartbreak, getting older. You know, physical ailments, like whatever it happens to be. I hope it's about me, but if you can listen to that story and go, oh yeah, I get that, I know that. I want that connection, that empathy between humans when I tell jokes, you know?
You're fascinating.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
I'm so glad you came by today.
Thank you.
And I mean, seriously, from comedian to, I mean, we talked about porn. We talked about
therapy, mental health.
Mental
drug
health.
treatments.
God, all kinds of fun stuff. I'd love to hang out. And I'm so sorry I didn't go to your birthday party. That's
Unbelievable. I know. You know what? I'm going to do some mushrooms. I'm going to release the trauma that caused.
Oh my God. I felt so bad. But when you're with your mother and you haven't seen her for like 2 to 3 months, because that's how, unfortunately, how long it goes. Sometimes when I don't see my mom, and then you go out and you see her and you're like, gotta go, Mom. She's like, huh? What?
Listen,
why? Why so
mum is a good
early?
excuse. Mum is a good excuse.
It wasn't. I don't even want to say that it was an excuse, because I planned on being there.
It's all right. You missed out on a good party. We had a good dance.
Hey, I had fun hanging out with you with Adam Kroll's.
Yeah, me too.
Christmas
me
party.
too. Yeah.
That's where we got to meet you. I
just saw him again today. He was having me back on again today. Actually, he loves chatting. Yeah, he's a fan now. So I'm not sure if his listeners are.
You're fascinating. I'm going to have you back. Are you kidding?
Thank you.
I mean, an hour went like that, and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't even touch on half the stuff I wanted to talk to you about.
I'm sorry.
No, don't be. Are you kidding? No, whatever. You're so entertaining, and I love talking. You're much deeper than I actually expected. Let's put it that way.
I know. I look like a dickhead, but that's all right.
You're handsome. You do not look like a dickhead.
No, it's the rings. It's the overt jewelry and the floppy hair.
I love
People think
that.
this gregarious personality.
It's part of. Yes, that's my style that I like to see in a guy.
You know what it is? If I'm going to go through this life and I've only got one chance of this particular life, I think there's many more after. I might as well do it with a little pizzazz. You do. You have style. I noticed that's your little logo too. You have like a merch store. I do. Yeah. I got some merch on my website and stuff. Yeah. Yeah. And there are all the skulls and everything. Super cool. Yeah. So it is jeffleach.com. Oh yeah, jeffreyleach.com is my website, but really I would love to draw people to just 2 things, which is the comedy special I made. If people want to watch that, YouTube, just go search for Jeff Leach Comedy Spectacular, you'll find it. It's done all right. It's had like 300,000 views so far. It's getting up there. It's building.
Awesome.
I've got to get a few more. I want to get up to 1 mil eventually.
There you go.
And then the podcast that I'm doing, Comic Cougar Convo. If you're into that, go
so
check it.
funny.
And again, all free. I put all of this stuff out free. I fund it all myself, so it's out there on YouTube. All the full length episodes are free.
That's amazing. I love it.
Thank you.
Thank you. This is Jeff Leach, and you guys don't miss it. You have to go listen to his special. I mean, I'm so happy I got to meet you and sit and hang out and talk to you more. And we're going to be friends. We're going to
I'm looking forward to hearing all about Jet after the podcast.
I'll tell you after the podcast. Jeff's over there looking at me going, no, you cannot. Anyway, everyone, thank you so much for listening to Chillin' with Ice. And until next time, this is where legends live on. Thank you so much for listening to Chillin' with Ice. And don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share wherever you listen to your podcasts. Remember to follow us on Patreon and YouTube at Chillin' with Ice. And on Instagram and TikTok, you can follow me at lori.ice.fetrick. I look forward to chilling with you next time here on Chillin' with Ice.